Hello everyone, my name is Mark, I'm your driver. You joined me this morning on a beautiful, sunny October sunrise morning. And you joined me behind the wheel of this 2020 Hyundai Palisade. We are stuck in the left lane as per usual in these kinds of videos, which I don't get to do very often, but today I'm traveling a little bit to film a documentary about some dogs. And that's pretty cool, so I figured I'd share it with you. But I mean, other than that, this is really just going over fuel economy, highway driving assist, what it's like as sort of a long-distance highway cruiser, and yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see maybe in a minute what our passing power looks like, because my word, we are gonna sit here forever, aren't we? Oh, you're the only one in the left lane. Okay, cool. The only reason I can think of that they wouldn't sell the Palisade in Germany for the Autobahn is emissions, because this 3.8 liter V6 is it's a bit of a dinosaur. it's 3.8 liters. You heard me correctly. It's not the 3.5 you usually see in Hondas, Toyotas, well, before they all downsized. So it's a little bit big to begin with, and I mean, they've been making the Lambda V6 since, I want to say, 2005, 2006. The fundamentals of the Hyundai Kia Lambda V6 really, they haven't changed much. You know, they've done some things here and there to, you know, help power in some applications, help fuel economy in, say, this one. But overall, it's a powertrain that is very early to mid 2000s. And maybe I'm just getting a little bit older and feeling nostalgic for those times, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with a little bit of a fuel economy hit if it means that I can have the silky smooth V6-ness and a better engine tone that's not all, you know, growly all the time. It's, you know, it's got some, it's not the greatest note in the world. I like it, and I'm okay with paying a little bit of a penalty as far as fuel economy is concerned if it means that I get to relive my youth. What was that? Oh, those turn signal cameras are such a blessing on the highway. Lets me keep my eyes forward so that I can avoid rear-ending someone when traffic inevitably piles up right there. And I can still make my lane changes and make sure that my blind spots are nice and clear. It is such a beautiful morning out. Holy cow. I keep kind of forgetting where I am, you know, in terms of topics that I've covered, because I keep getting distracted by how nice it is out for this time of year. Again with the weather, Mark. Again with the weather. You did that in the intro. If I didn't have anywhere to be in a hurry, I'd be parking myself behind one of those faster moving semi-trucks and just slipstreaming. Oh, the fuel savings would be immense. Oh, that was, there was like a good probably hour there that was just bumper to bumper traffic where I was just totally letting highway driving assist do that, because my word, do I have no interest in creeping forward, stepping on the brakes, creeping forward, stepping on the brakes. And it does a pretty good job of that. It hasn't figured out limo stops, so when it applies the brakes, it applies the brakes. That's not to say that it's gonna like stand on the brakes and like throw you into the windshield, but it does mean that when you're approaching like 2 or 3 miles an hour, it will just kind of stop the car, and that can just be a little bit abrupt at times. Holy moly, look at that view! Look at this road! This is fantastic. see, our fuel economy is 10.3 liters per 100 kilometers. Granted, there was a lot more traffic than the Buick road trip, and I mean, I have to say speeds were pretty similar, so 1.3 liters per 100 kilometers over a 1.4 liter Buick. I don't know how it does that, but it's not the worst on gas, especially at highway speeds, or so it seems. What is that, man? I just, oh, horses! I'm so used to just having nothing to look at on my drives, so this is just such a refreshing change of scenery. Like, look at this. Look how the road goes up and then also down. I like that. Come on, come on, yeah, come on. See, the misconception is that you have to indicate when you enter the roundabout. You actually only indicate when you go to exit the roundabout. And it's always, well, usually it's a right indicator because you're leaving to the right. If you indicate left, that signals that I'm gonna keep going around in a circle. That's a little top tip for roundabouts that'll stop me getting T-boned eventually. You're not in a lane. I don't know. I have to be exceptionally distracted for me to start wandering in a lane like that. So, keep your eyes on the road, people. Keep your eyes on the road. Look at this weather. Look at these trees. They are so vibrant. Click away now, please. But we are just about at our destination. So I will check back in with you guys when I have something to report. We are just finishing up at location. I'm on my way back. And we are just about ready to start the next home leg of our little road trip video. Goodbye, Dogtails. You have an absolutely gorgeous property, beautiful facilities, and so many adorable dogs. If you are looking to adopt a dog, Dogtails. Without a doubt. Fantastic place, fantastic people. I know I was just shooting a documentary there, but seriously, if you are looking to adopt a dog, that is the place to do it. And not a bad little road either. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at this road. You could definitely catch air if you went fast enough on that. That's probably why it's a 40. Oh, and we have the sign for Bendy Road. You know how much I love those. Sharp curves, please. we are getting on the highway now, and we are en route to a bit of a fun little location I've got planned out, so stay tuned for that. Little bit of front end push, that is to be expected. It's got a big heavy V6 up there and a front biased, well, you know, on demand all-wheel drive system, which means you're not really getting very many sporty intentions in this car. But you know what, for something that hauls the family around, it can move surprisingly well. So bearing that in mind, that is going to be somewhat the topic of this special location. Some might call it a cliche to go there, but I think it's pretty cool. So I will check in with you guys when, again, I have something to report, because right now, as we can see, it is nothing but straight highway, my favorite. Off the highway now, we are going to explore some bendy roads. Some secret bendy roads. We can probably get rid of our fuel economy now and just focus on performance. G-forces, horsepowers. This is a really beautiful road though. Well, we're here, I suppose we can do a quick little 0 to 60. Pretty good. Kind of pushed through the brakes there. That was my bad. We'll keep it in sport. Solid little road, but not what we came for. You join me once again on the highway. I'm all settled down. I got it all out of my system. Speaking of getting things out of the system, fuel economy out the window, gonzo. I destroyed that. So now it's going to be a game of, can I make it home on this tank of gas? Which I think I can, assuming I keep my fuel economy lower than it is now. So we shall see. We shall see if I end up on the side of the highway this evening, or if I make it home in good spirits and good time. we'll see. Hello everyone, you join me again, and this time I have 29 kilometers remaining in the journey and 51 kilometers remaining on the dash. If we can see that little fuel needle, that is reading quite low. Adaptive cruise is braking because that semi seems to have invaded my lane. But yeah, little stressful, little tight. I've passed a couple rest stops along the way, and all of them have a sign on the billboard that says no fuel available. So I am starting to understand the range anxiety of EV owners. That's me intervening because I don't feel like it standing on the brakes for me. I can do that. But I'm starting to understand just a little bit more of the EV range anxiety. I mean, in my case, the range anxiety is going to take, 10 minutes, if that, to remedy, whereas an EV, I'm looking at pulling over for potentially, 45 minutes at best. Although, I mean, it's probably faster now, but it's still not as snappy as a regular fuel stop. Now, I could save a lot of fuel by drafting a semi, doing, 75 kilometers an hour, where the car's in its top gear at its lowest speed. So you're getting, maximum reduction, minimum speed, minimum RPMs, and all the wind resistance taken away by semi. But I don't want to be on the highway for another hour and a half. I've got 25 minutes left. I don't want to spend the rest of it limping my way home. So I think our first stop's going to be a fuel station. And we'll see how accurate that distance remaining meter is. Yikes. I think that's going to just about wrap this up. The Palisade did fantastic today, as always. It has plenty of passing power. It got pretty decent fuel economy, all things considered. It's not the worst thing to toss around a corner. And highway driving assist was an absolute savior today. I don't know what I would have done without it and all that stop and go traffic. Probably fallen asleep at the wheel or rear-ended someone, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. I gotta clean some leaves out of the car because it's been sitting all day. And I'll see you guys in the next one.